set it up again?
No. Just pushing. I just like clicked it again to see if now it goes. Yep. Now we're on.
We're on now. Are we really? It's not just several minutes of me rambling, is it?
Yep. Now we're on. Yeah.
Oh. I like how that's part of our process is hearing the opening of our stream. Yes. Well, it finally. So you just had to do it over and over?
Yeah, but this time it actually was connecting. Last time it wasn't even like.
But you still had to do it weird.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Contra Gentiles. Sorry, I have to be more dramatic, right? Yes. Welcome to Contra Gentiles Season 4, Episode 18. As we've now standardized it again. For some reason, my audio is super quiet on the...
okay.
I don't know. Interesting.
Well, that's why did you set it up? Because you probably have to do that part. Before it was like at 56 or something.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, how you doing?
Well,
we have our so many MacBooks. We're power users.
Well, we're doing everything ourselves. We don't have like a Jamie anymore.
I know.
Someday we will again.
Yeah. Eventually.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Probably this summer, to be honest.
Because your son will be back?
Someone will.
One of your children?
Could be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody will, I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what really pisses me off? Remember the buzzing I was talking about?
Yeah.
The like nice Neutrik cables I got, the black ones.
Yeah.
Those ones buzz a lot.
Oh, really?
They charge up over time. They get an electric charge and you have to like discharge them.
Oh,
so like pop, and then the static goes away. So they're just not shielded well, I guess. Oh. And then these shitty, whatever stupid off-brand or don't do it. So I have to use the shitty off-brand. I guess they're not shitty.
Yeah.
If the Neutrik stuff is dumb. But anyway, that's some shop. Anyway, I was trying to think. I was having thoughts earlier. Yes. Oh, I wanted to ask you the crucifix thing, wearing crucifixes.
Okay.
I noticed that a lot of people wear them under their shirts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like a lot of people will go like, oh, I really like yours. And they pull theirs out of their shirt and like show you theirs.
Yes. Yeah. They wear it under their shirts. Yeah, that's true.
But why do they do that? Why wear it? I mean, what's the... I guess if it's blessed, it's not just an accessory.
Yeah. Because it really... Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Because a lot of people do that. They wear like their medals inside their shirt, and scapular under their shirt.
Well, obviously you've seen Latinos that don't. They just have their shirt way open, and
the Orthodox wear it out.
Yeah, and then you could just see it. And so I think that's more of like an Anglo-American thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it just gaudy? They don't like it puritanical about it?
I think that's all that it is. Because I think when you look at most of them, they don't really wear jewelry at all. Most men
that's true.
Don't. Okay. Most Anglo men don't. Yeah.
So they're not accessorizing.
Yeah. And so I think for them it's kind of like...
Okay, because I just thought about it because
same thing like with the rings. My dad had like rings on his fingers.
All of them?
Oh yeah, not all of them, but at least like the ring finger, the middle finger, like the thumb even.
Oh, he wore thumb rings.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
He was like bleeding out. Especially if he was going like to a good meeting or
That's
something.
That's the only ring I should wear is a thumb ring.
Yeah.
Just a ring one thumb ring.
Yeah. Like he'll put like a nice shirt on, open it way down here, get his rings on.
Even when he was old?
Gold. Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice gold watch, cologne everywhere.
Just sounds like how I dress.
Yeah. That was his way to like Easter Mass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Gold crucifix. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I used to wear crucifixes and stuff, but I haven't like in the past 10 years. In my 20s, I wore it all the time. I had a few. I had a few medals that I wore because I also had my my sports MVP medals.
Do you think it's a grabby baby thing, or why do you not wear them anymore?
It probably was, yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of
that
them
would be my thought immediately. Yeah. Once you have,
because it wasn't really conscious that I stopped wearing them. It just like kind of gradually, I think, became the thing with kids and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think probably once I don't have babies anymore, I'll probably go back to it. Yeah. Is it distracting in some sense?
No. I just wanted to check that our
Yeah.
audio on stream was fine because it looks quiet over on my end, but that
Right. Yeah.
will be fine. I can deal with quiet audio on the audio processing end. I just don't want to feed YouTube any shitty audio or anything.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, so yeah, I think eventually
I had that thought walking around Fred Meyer.
Yeah. But I also think just because the ones that I did have were meaningful and the most of them got lost.
Oh.
Yeah, either kids rip it out or through moving too many times.
Kids ripping it out. So
and I moved so much in my 20s. Like I lived basically like a nomad.
Yeah,
I had no home in my 20s at all.
Yeah,
and so things get lost in moves all the time.
Yeah, for your whole 20s, you didn't.
Yeah, when did you come back? I graduated 2002 from undergrad. From undergrad was. No, 2004. I graduated 2004 from undergrad. And then I went to Belgium.
Yeah.
Then I came back.
2017?
No, first time I went there 2005.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for my for the first masters. And so, yeah, I lived over there. And then when I came back to Pennsylvania. And then we took like a road trip to Alaska. And then I left again to New York. And then, yeah, basically it wasn't until... Even then I went back when I was 33 to Belgium again. So it really was around 36, 37 when I finally stopped being a nomad.
That recent?
Yeah. Bought this house and everything. Yeah. That's really when I just started to.
When did you buy the house again?
2018.
Wow.
Start being settled. Yeah. So most of my life was pretty nomadic. We were, even with 4 kids, we were staying in friends' sofas, sleeping around, going place to place.
Around,
yeah, but that's what I mean by sleep. And I don't mean that way. I just mean like
with
sleeping
4 kids or sleeping around
from place to place.
Groomer.
Yeah, never really staying in a place longer than 2 years. That was the thing.
Should I have the lime or the pamplemousse? LaCroix.
I don't think I've ever tried the pamplemousse, so I can't.
The grapefruit?
Yeah, I don't think I ever had the.
Do you want to try it?
The Croix.
Do you want a waterfall from my LaCroix?
I could take a sip.
It's so good.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's my. I think these are my 2 favorite ones, and they're some of the 2 that they.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's the choice. It really bothers me, the LaCroix thing, the LaCroix discourse, how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Oh, really?
LaCroix or something. It's like
LaCroix.
the company on the website says LaCroix.
Do they?
Yeah. They're like, it's not pronounced like it's French. It's pronounced LaCroix.
LaCroix. I just say LaCroix.
We say LaQuax.
LaQuax.
Or is that how Amy says it?
Oh, yeah.
LaQuax, I think is how. She might be watching and comment. Yeah, it really does. It's like, if it's a proper noun, you can make it pronounced any way you want.
Right, because that's not a real.
Like what was Elon Musk's kid's name? The A12X.
Does he have a pronunciation for it?
It's like dash or something. That was Grimes' idea.
So weird.
She's disgusting.
Yeah. Are they together or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think they split up a while ago.
Did they?
I thought.
Maybe they were never married, right? Just dating.
I couldn't tell you.
No.
I don't know. I don't think they were married. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would marry his concubines.
He's awkwardly eccentric.
What do you mean?
It's just like he's kind of dorky. He's kind of like a computer nerdy, but obviously he fucks a lot. He has these weird mannerisms sometimes. Sometimes he looks like he's on the verge of tears.
I think he's desperately uncool.
Yeah,
I think there's nothing cool about him.
But that's what I mean. Like
he gets it.
Awkwardly eccentric. Like he's not, he's not like Russell Brand eccentric. Like that's an obvious eccentricity. Like he plays the part of being this kind of douchebag,
bohemian,
yes,
wild guy,
right? And then you have someone like it's almost as if he's I can't even really explain it. Like, you know how really the only truly unique people that you meet are like people who are severely autistic.
Yes.
And then when you have like the
truly unique people,
yes, yeah, they're the ones
that's why
that
we
just
call
like,
them special.
yeah, you see, it's like, holy shit, man, that guy does not give a
guy
shit,
is
right?
unique.
Yes, yeah, because an average person
The real
does.
eccentrics are all autistic.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Because the average person actually cares about what other people think to a certain extent.
To any degree, to
Right.
varying degrees.
Yeah,
but-
so there's some people that with more so than others, but I mean, that's normal, right? You don't you don't want to walk around naked all the time. You care about the clothes
like
that
an
you wear.
autistic man.
But yeah, but when you see someone autistic, like their eccentricities
You mean
are
like
just them.
whale noise autistic, or like
That's even more so. Yeah, yeah. Like yes, those ones really do not give a shit what people think about
Is
them.
that obvious what I mean when I say whale noise autistic?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
That might be a new
Like
category.
you don't even have to
Coining
be
a new
that
term.
far gone. Like
Yeah.
that is to the extreme of like
Okay.
mental retardation. But I'm talking about like even functioning ones, like functional, severely autistic people. They're the ones that you could
Don't
really
care.
tell they just don't really give a shit.
And they're just weird.
They're just weird.
Yeah.
And that's what he reminds me of. Like he's just weird.
They dress weirdly.
Yes, he dresses weirdly. Like
Yeah.
when you see him on the beach with no shirt on, you're like, oh my god. You know?
He's like shaped like a barrel.
Yes, and you're like he's so white that it's kind of like creepy looking. But like he's just Elon Musk.
What do you think of going to the beach? Is going to the beach like an activity you enjoy?
I enjoy it the fuck out of it. Yes.
Okay. You go in
Yeah.
the water and stuff. And then
Oh yeah. Yeah.
okay.
But I love the sun. I love the heat. I love,
of course.
like I could just live pretty much like on a beach if I didn't live in Alaska. Like if I knew it was my dream home really is like a beachfront property.
Yeah.
So I could just like exist out there because I
Mhm.
yeah, I remember like when I went like to Virginia beaches and everything.
Virginia Beach. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
That's your dream.
I could not
your
that
dough.
not that place.
Like, my
Yeah, no,
dream-
I'm just saying like
My dream.
because that's too
home is in
urban. Like
Virginia Beach.
was far too urban. But I just remember like just sitting down there on the beach and just like you could bring a soccer ball, you could play, you could do whatever, and it was just I could spend so many hours that I don't realize that I've just spent like 10 hours out there.
Oh yeah.
It just flies by quickly, and so yeah, no, I love that. So yeah, that it's
Okay.
amazing.
Because
Yeah,
that's never something I think I
because we're in
But I
Alaska.
also yeah.
Yeah, we don't get to enjoy life.
I've been to many beaches.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
enjoy it. I mean,
Yeah, I love the fucking heat. Something about just sitting down there with the sun beating
blazing.
on you,
Yeah.
and you just the sand is hot, and you just go into the water.
Yeah.
And if you have kids, you're just playing out there and
Yeah.
just it's really just for me heavenly.
Yeah.
I could just like live.
So remember
out
we
there.
did go to a nude beach one time on accident
Oh, did you?
in Spain.
Yeah, yeah,
On accident and by accident?
yeah.
Is it on accident or by accident? Shit, I
don't
talk
know.
to English people too much.
I don't know. I say by accident, but I don't know. But I'm also a spick, and so it's like I say many things wrong.
I think it's interchange. Okay. Because there's one that I get made fun of
Oh, really?
by
Yeah.
the English for.
Oh, okay.
Same with at the weekend instead of on the weekend.
There at the weekend. I went there on the weekend.
I went there at the weekend.
I say
is-
on.
Well, yes, because the English say at the weekend.
Oh, do they? Okay.
It's like, it's not a place.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
anyway. But then at 1 o'clock. But anyway. A lot of tangents right now.
Yeah, but oof, beaches are amazing.
Yeah, I haven't been in a long time.
The one thing I do like about city beaches,
Beaches where the high rise like
yes,
backs right up to the beach.
is that you could like, you know, clean off really well, go with sandals, and go like to a nice restaurant.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's quite awesome. That's the one thing I do like about it. But yeah, like I've been to some other ones like in Oregon, like Cannon Beach, but that's kind of cold there. But that was still pretty awesome, and that's more residential.
I think people should live by water.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that place I thought was really awesome just because it was residential. I saw all those houses right there. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like that would just be amazing if that was your backyard. But
Yeah.
and well, what's the Hamptons, right? That's pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
what
yeah.
I've obviously never been there because I'm not rich, but that would be like Yeah.
A mansion in the Hamptons.
Oh yeah, that would be. I would definitely.
I don't
spend
ever
money
dream
on
about having a large house. Obviously, I don't have a reason to. So
Yes,
there's
yeah.
no. I just go like, ugh, that's a lot of work.
that. Oh yeah, if I had that much money to buy a mansion, I wouldn't be cleaning.
No,
you,
I know.
You should have hired help at that point.
No, it's like
Yeah.
if you're gonna buy a Rolls Royce, you have to hire somebody.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
that's part of the budgeting. Is
Yeah, it's part of the budgeting.
salary for a driver.
Having a mansion.
Why would you
it's-
buy a Rolls Royce and then sit in the front seat
Yeah.
and drive it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I probably. I'm more inclined to enjoy like sports cars than Rolls.
But you don't
luxury
even
cars.
care about cars much.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
if
talked about that.
If I had spare money and if I had no limits in terms of like what I'm spending, probably the car I love Lamborghinis. I just think they're
Oh, I
amazing.
think they look ridiculous.
I love them. There's like they just look like little aerodynamic little.
It just isn't
Yeah.
cool. They have no allure to me at all.
Yeah.
None.
For me, just
I'd have like a
sports cars.
Corvette maybe, but I think
Corvette is nice.
they're
too,
a
yeah.
little more pedestrian.
Yeah. No, those type of cars. I don't know. Like I love the way the Italians make those things. I just
Yeah.
think it's beautiful.
I think Ferraris are more attractive.
Ferraris,
are
yes.
way more attractive than Lamborghinis. Just look silly to me.
Yeah, they're kind of silly. I'm not completely disagreeing with you. I do think they're kind of silly, but yeah, Lamborghini, Ferrari, I'll definitely.
Ferrari, I would way prefer
yeah,
a Ferrari.
Yeah, any of those type of cars is what I would find.
A Lamborghini
interesting.
to me is like a
Automobili.
beaner TikTok influencer.
Oh yeah, and I'm a spick. So
Yeah,
that's
I
probably
think
why.
it's like a you made it car, but then a Ferrari is like a real connoisseur's vehicle. Like,
Yes, yeah,
it doesn't look.
yeah. I think so.
Yeah, because I see Lamborghinis and I'm like, it just looks kind of brown.
Oh, yes, I completely agree, but I get why. As being a brown guy, it's like, yes, I get why I would get
Yeah,
that.
I'm like, I'm too white for
Yes,
Lamborghinis.
yes, yeah.
It's like Bentleys to me are like hardcore black guy cars.
Yes, yeah.
But
I
they're
agree.
not. They're not in England. They're not. They don't understand that at all.
Or they
But
don't.
for some
yeah.
reason here,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody like agrees with me or not, or with us. I guess
So,
like they just it looks like a black guy
Like
car.
you made it. Yeah.
It's a black guy car.
Yeah.
They're like I would never own that.
Yes. Yeah.
I would never
Same
own
with a Cadillac.
Cadillac
It's a
Escalade.
yes, that's like a black guy car.
I was
Yeah.
about to say
Yeah.
black guy car.
Yeah. Like that doesn't interest me, but Lamborghinis
recent
do.
model like GMC Yukons or black guy
Yeah.
cars.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There's. I do think different races have their look.
Yeah, I don't know what I would drive. I don't know my.
Yours? Yeah. I don't know.
I know I would imagine I have a
Tesla.
no. I would.
That's what I think
I'd
of like a
wanna
white
try.
guy.
I want to try driving a Tesla just to
Yeah.
know because the throttle input is like immediate. There's no
Right, yeah,
lag.
that's
I
what
would
they
like
say,
to
yeah.
know.
Is it with their feet or is it with their hands? Do they control like a remote control, or is there an actual pedal?
I would imagine there's a pedal.
You imagine there's a pedal, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that.
Yeah, because I would imagine if it's completely electric, they could just make like a video game.
Yeah, if I
They
had
like
a,
hold down R. Because
yeah, I'd have something like ridiculous and old. Like
don't their steering wheels look
yeah.
like a video game type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
They're
looks-
like flat on top.
yeah, it looks
I think.
ridiculous. Yeah,
It's very anti-car to me.
yeah, like
It's like an Apple Watch. It's like it's not a
Right,
It's
yes, yeah.
anti-watch. You don't care what a watch is
yes,
or
yeah.
for.
You just care for the electronic features that it has. Yeah, I would agree. Do you think that's actually the future? Do you think most cars
I think yes.
it's going to just become electric?
Yeah. I think as I don't see a reason. I don't see a reason why if you can't reduce emissions in multi-million citizen cities
Yeah.
just by nature of the advancement of technology, why you wouldn't just do that. I don't understand. Like, there's nothing like wrong about electric cars replacing combustion engines.
I guess I just don't see it actually
I
reducing.
don't. It won't.
emissions, yeah.
It won't even close. Like, it won't. It won't. It will. It would in cities if the
Yeah.
power plant is way out in the middle. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's the amount of technological process or progress it would require to actually make and sustain electric vehicles on a wide scale
Yeah.
is just impossibly long. Like
Yes,
it's such
yes.
a long time.
I
And
know.
that assumes that technology advances at a steady rate forever, and that
Yeah.
nothing will happen between now and electric cars everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think that there's anything morally or practically wrong with the idea of that.
Right, yeah.
Once
I
they
don't
pull,
either.
once, so that was my dad's thing. Is he
Yeah.
hated hybrids because like once he had no problem with hybrids. Once you tell him, once you make saving the world part of the advertising
That's when it becomes
for
stupid.
hybrid cars, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'd spend money to get 70 miles a gallon.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
That's not a problem.
I really do think that the only realistic way where electric vehicles or other type of vehicles would be actually helpful for emissions if we just start making nukes.
And nuking a bunch of places.
Yeah, like using nuclear energy rather
I thought you
than
meant building
fossil.
nukes and blowing
No.
people up. You're like, kill half the population
Because-
and then everybody drive electric
No,
cars.
no, just like getting your electricity from nuclear
Speaking
power.
my language.
I think it's the only real possible way, or maybe hydrogen power. But the idea that we're going to what is that? Save emissions by still using fossil fuel to power plants and to get electricity just seems kind of silly to me.
I guess I would say when I mean emissions is like the immediate city would be less smoggy.
Yes, if they could build it far away enough,
that's
because
what
these,
I mean.
these
I'm
plants
not
would have to start being huge. I mean, if you think of the amount of people that drive
It would
in
be
LA,
a city-sized power plant.
it would. Yes,
A
yeah,
large city-sized power
yeah.
plant.
It would be insane.
Yeah.
And I think the only way that would be both economically sound and environmentally sound is if we just start making nukes and using nuclear power for powering things. And I don't understand why we don't.
The risk is really high.
It isn't anymore, though. That's the thing. Now they make mini nukes. Now they make the technology is so much better than it was in the 1960s.
That's true.
That yeah, and there's so much safeguarding against any kind of meltdown that the threat that was there like 80 years ago doesn't really exist
But I think
anymore.
when people think of like Fukushima and stuff, it's like that just happened.
Yes, yeah,
Like that did just happen.
that did. But
So like that's rare.
yes,
So when people see that happen,
yes, it is rare. But I also think that those were. I would have to look at what kind of
the
technology
protocol
they
was
used.
old.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was still pretty outdated, and I think they can build different type of plants in which it could contain any kind of meltdown in itself, rather than being destructive, or just put it on a fucking island, just turn Hawaii into an entire nuclear power plant. Who cares?
Did you see that?
It's just Hawaii. What happened?
Caleb says, I'm noticing Jeremy's lips, and yeah, he's a quarter black. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's any. I think that car guys hate electric cars because they're uncool.
Yeah.
But all cars are uncool now. It's not
yeah.
It's not just electric cars that are not cool. There's
Yeah.
no cool cars anymore. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
cars are just not cool in the same way anymore.
Yeah.
None of them.
Yeah, I
like
would
it just cool cars like car guys want them to be are a thing of the past.
Yes. Yeah.
It's over. Like cars are not
Yeah, it's never
just
gonna
are
come
not
back.
going to ever be cool again.
Yeah.
They regulate the overall shape of the vehicle too much
Yeah.
for it to ever.
To have.
They're
the
all
kind
going to look exactly the same
of- Yeah.
because they're
What do you
so
think
heavily-
about the aesthetics of electric vehicles?
Um,
Like the futuristic. Besides, I think like Buick came one that looks retro.
Did they?
Yeah.
What is that?
I can't remember. Josh was showing me. So
when was that?
It was last year. I think I don't know if it ever got made or if it was a prototype, but it was like a Buick
Oh, I bet it was a prototype,
electrical vehicle.
but it looked vintage.
Yeah, but they made it look more like probably like 80-ish from the 1980s. type of
Oh,
retro.
so not a cool Buick.
No, it was like it was that kind of retro.
That's the thing. What the difference between retro and vintage are two different.
I know, yeah.
Retro to me sounds like a specific. You would never call something like a dress inspired by the 1920s retro.
No, you don't. Retro, no, I think
The
normally
60s, 70s, 80s.
yeah, refers to that era.
Buick concept car. I don't know which one you're talking about, but anyway, Buick is stupid. Is like a stupid. Do they still make Buicks, but they export them all to China, I think.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's like because what Oldsmobile was badass for a long time. And they lost their brand identity and eventually were cut. And then Pontiac was badass for a long time, decades, and then lost its brand identity.
It just looks like a 80s car. It's not boxy look.
And then Buick was about to hit the axe, I think, because it lost its brand identity and they all look hideous.
Oh, yes, yeah.
But then the Chinese really like them, so I think
the Chinese like Buicks?
Yes, Buicks are like high sales in China. If I remember that right. Nobody fact checked that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they exist still.
Is for that.
They look so stupid.
Yeah,
like they're like the most bubbly looking round.
Right, yeah.
Like a bug looking car.
Yeah.
Not like a Volkswagen, but they look like insects. But like Buick had up until like the 70s had such incredibly attractive cars.
Yeah.
I mean,
my dad always had this like soft spot for Buicks, I think, because in his era.
Well,
he was growing up in 1940s, 50s, and 60s.
Well, because it was Buick and a Cadillac.
Yes, and Cadillac he also liked almost as much as a black guy.
Well, everybody liked Cadillacs until. No, black guys liked Pontiac.
No, that's the poor ones.
Oh,
Pontiac stands for poor. Poor old nigga thinks it's a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Nothing. Stupid thing. Messed up.
Oh, your MacBook? Your secondary MacBook?
Yes.
It was such a stupidly large computer. The 16-inch.
This is my second 16-inch or two.
Oh, so you're monitoring something over there with your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the stream was messing up. No, we're good. We's good. We's good.
Yeah, I'm just trying to log in.
Yeah, I don't know what my car, like my one, I think a really, really pristine 59 Pontiac, 4-door sedan.
Yeah.
Would
like
be
an old car like
with the pod V.
Yeah, yeah.
They did that fin is like a pod that goes out straight, and then on the top of the pod is a V, so it's 4 fins.
Oh, okay,
it's insane. But yeah, that and the gold. The Catalina, I think the Catalina was the short wheelbase.
What does that mean, short wheelbase?
So I know the Star Chief was the longest wheelbase. So this is the 40. Yeah, it's the longest deck lid, the trunk.
Oh, okay.
And then there's other trims that they're slightly shorter. So the wheelbase is a little bit shorter.
Oh, okay.
So they're shorter cars. And I like the shorter wheelbase on those better. Probably something 59. Like literally, if it was just money's not an object, you can have anything we want in whatever condition. It would be a fully restored.
Yeah.
3 on the tree. Manual transmission on the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No power steering. No power steering, and the clutch like a truck.
Yes. Yeah.
Hell yeah. You get like 13 miles a gallon. Gorgeous. There is something about driving a car that everybody stares at.
Yeah.
Because I drove a 70 Fury for a long time, and everybody would stare at that.
Did they?
Yeah. People like old men would nod at me and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
This is awesome. Yeah, it was a big white. It was a government car too, so it was like the dog dish hubcaps and everything.
Oh, okay.
Like an old like Rockford Files looking car.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That was the fuselage cars were not as attractive, but because they got rid of the little shoulder. But you engaged a car nerd on Car Talk. I was like, we'll see how fast it takes you to disengage.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't hate cars. I just don't.
No, you just don't really.
I don't know much about it. So
that's why you buy a Lamborghini.
Yes, I'll buy a Lamborghini or a Ferrari.
I'd prefer you buy a Ferrari, but
Yeah.
oh, JC, whoever the hell that is, I don't
Mhm.
know, says our laptops match our personalities. Funny. Anyway, I was. Do you have a time limit today? Does it matter?
We're good.
You're not like falling asleep at all, so that's nice.
Yeah. So setting all this shit up is like,
I know. I'm trying to
awesome.
fill dead air till you're not distracted anymore.
Yep. That is now. It's finally like up on the screen. So
I was listening. It's every podcast ever now. Every podcast, every news show, everything all
Yeah.
talks about gender shit now.
oh yeah, yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And it washes over me sometimes how it obviously, but it because obviously it's such a part of the landscape now that it's just not shocking. It almost just doesn't faze you that people are talking about gender
Right, yeah.
at whatever,
Yeah.
transing children or gender roles or how surgeries work or whether or not you can do surgeries in different states or who has a right to what. And then there's like,
Yeah.
obviously the trans people are protesting something again. And like,
Yeah.
it just is constant.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think I snap to this weird, like dissociated lucidity about it. And I'm like, oh wait, this is like actually real.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
this is actually happening.
Yeah,
Like this
the
isn't
people are actually doing
this
this.
isn't, it's not just like because no, like if you see like coverage of a war or something
Yeah.
or whatever, like you see people dying and stuff, and then you have that, and that's mediated,
Yes.
and your
And then when you
consumption of
think
it is
about-
mediated, and then you're like you actually stop engaging the mediated content, or you take the mediated content and you consider it further than just what's presented to you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's actually happening.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Africans starving in villages or something, you're like, that's actually happening.
Yes. Yeah.
Like now, this isn't like I don't know. I think just because of the way that news is consumed,
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't,
You could
it's
abstract
very,
it
yes.
from reality. Yeah.
And some like today I was listening to Matt Fradd's show he's having, or maybe it wasn't today or sometime
Yeah.
last week. I was listening today to an episode
Okay,
that he
yeah,
put
yeah.
out recently with some guy talking about, they're talking about like gender, transgender stuff. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is obviously everybody knows it's satanic,
Yeah.
but I don't think people actually
Think about what that means.
digest how satanic it is.
Yeah.
That we live in a time when we have to debate like what gender people are. Like,
Right. Yeah. I think some people do.
no, we
Yeah.
don't require that, but it is
Yeah.
happening. Like it's just
No. I mean, some people do really see how insane it is.
Yeah.
I think there's some that's always constantly in their head how crazy it is. But yeah, I think it's become so mainstream now that it's not that I guess people are getting desensitized to the conversation as if it's just part of a normal discussion, which in reality, I mean, it can't possibly ever be really part of a normal discussion, just part of a common one. Yeah, at this point.
It's just wild
Yeah.
to me. And I don't it just doesn't end without civilizational collapse. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't even mean that from like I think the people are like, oh, well, Weimar Germany did this thing and then they had a dictator and then they like people compare our situation to different arcs of history over time, where they compare the US to the Roman Empire. It's like no empire collapses the same way as any other. Like it's
Well, of course.
wildly overcomplicated.
Yes. Yeah.
Or that's wildly oversimplified to say that.
Yeah.
So I don't think that necessarily the U.S. as a superpower is like doomed to immediate collapse.
Mm-hmm.
but there's no. I know I said this a few weeks ago. Like, you either have to abandon ship completely,
Yeah.
or kill everybody who's wrong. Like, you can't.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
No,
what do you do when there's millions of like Satan, like satanic gender demons,
Yeah.
performing to children and stuff, like,
Yeah.
and like making children perform for them? It's like, I don't know what other solution there is, because that's such an immediately grave issue that taking several decades to just politely convince people to stop doing it is not the correct course of action.
Yeah. And I think ultimately it will be ineffective. I think the only effective way to do it is through violence.
Yeah.
There's always like this point with human behavior that if you don't engage with it forcefully, at some point you're going to have to. And we see this with kids, right? Because like normally, unless you're an abusive person, you don't start out by hitting the kid automatically, right?
Yeah.
If they did something wrong.
I would have a hard time not doing that, which is why I'll never be a parent.
No, what I mean is like you don't hit somebody.
Yeah.
You don't hit your kid while you're making the rules. Let's say,
of course.
you say, hey,
you don't establish the rule by whacking somebody.
yes, you don't, right?
Yeah.
And so normally you establish the rule and then you want to make sure that they understand it, right?
Yeah.
And so then when you see them like maneuvering through existence and not really knowing where their boundaries are, they many times start pushing the boundaries. At that point, you normally like, you're already established this, right? And then there's a point in which the child is just going to look at you while they're doing the thing they're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the point where like, okay, now this is just a deliberate disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can get a smack in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a point in which violence really is the only option. And I do think that we are in a point where violence is the only option. Mm-hmm. Because now they're like the kid, if you tell your kid, hey, you're not supposed to pull on this curtain, right? Mm-hmm. And then sometimes they're playing around and they touch it, they're like, whatever, don't do that. Yeah. But let's say they'll walk up to there deliberately, do it, and then they yank it and rip it off the wall. That is to the point of what these people are now. Mm. Now they're just looking at you to your face, right? And they're saying the most absurd things possible. At this point, it's like,
because they know they're not supposed to.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, why are you going to argue at that point? There's no more argument to be had. Mm. There's no more reasoning to be had when somebody says something so absurd. And so now violence is really the only option that you can have, either imprisoning them, beating them. You don't have to go to the killing route the way you want to, but
you could a few.
Yes, but you could do like with that.
That would be mine. Yes, that would be
like with that new president in El Salvador,
who just arrested everybody.
Yes, and I think that's a good option. He's like making videos to mock them, with them walking around with their hand on their head. And he's like, they're like looking like apes.
It really is beautifully Latin American.
It is, yes, because in the end, like the violence is the only option that he had. They've been encroaching on everything for decades, to the point it's like, okay, well now violence. We're going to arrest you. We're going to beat you. We're going to imprison you, and we're not going to let you out. We're going to make you bash in your comrades like graveyard sites. Like they made them take sledgehammers to their graveyard sites, make them dig it up, burn it, whatever. Yeah, it's like, yes, because at this point that is what is needed.
Medieval.
It's beautiful. And I would say that's the route that we don't have to get into an actual war, but there has to be an authoritarian figure that just says enough is enough.
So there has to be a Hitler.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just going to
people talk about like the new Caesar. So I'm like, no, the new Hitler.
Yes. Yeah. There needs to be an authoritarian figure.
Be like
or
trans Holocaust.
Okay. And if that doesn't work, and then I would say that's when we need to get Charlemagne on them.
Okay.
And then that's the point.
You just crusade them?
Yes, because there's going to be a point that maybe imprisonment doesn't work. And if it comes to that, then it's done.
Yeah.
If you're not even going to be scared of being arrested, now we're just going to have to kill you. Mm-hmm. But then and then become like Charles the Hammer. the great. Yeah, and so yeah, I do think
because I think everybody
that's going to
wants
happen.
that. I think they want that. Also.
Oh yes, I know.
Obviously, the trans people
They
want violence
Yes,
badly,
I know.
but no one will give it to them.
And that's why they're becoming like kids. They're yelling at people's faces. They're getting into your business, doing whatever, and they're forcing you to comply to their demands. And people are too much of a pussy to just punch them.
Yeah.
Because that's just do that. Just get violent on them. If somebody yells at your face, there's no reason to yell back anymore. You just take your fist and you start beating them.
Yes.
You know? And
yeah.
and hopefully maybe that'll be the first step.
Mm-hmm.
If people just start actually becoming physically violent with these people, because it's just dumb. They're protests, they're whatever. No, just start fucking punching. If anybody yelled at my face the way that they do, I really would punch them.
Of course, really fast.
Yes.
I don't think it would take you very long.
They wouldn't know. And I think they know that. And that's why people don't do that to me.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah, they refuse to, because what are you going to do? I'm not going to yell back.
Yeah.
It's done. I yell at the hobos to get off the streets.
Yeah.
Somebody just comes in. They come into my business.
Yeah.
Like these new videos that comes out with already about this. To start yelling at the person, I really would just go over the counter and just calmly walk up to them like I do to the child, and I'll start punching them. I don't punch my kids, but you spank them, right?
Yeah.
So that would be my form of spanking. Like it's not going to be emotional. It's not
What
going to be.
video do you mean? The yelling,
It was a new one, a new compilation that came out
on like YouTube.
YouTube,
or something,
yeah.
Of just
Yeah.
trans people
Yep,
yelling.
trans people, yeah.
In restaurants.
Yep. In restaurants, other businesses, and everything, and the person just
okay.
kept saying "sir."
Oh, that's old.
No, a new one that came out. Not the it's ma'am thing. It's a new one.
No, that sir one is old. That everybody's been talking about.
No. I know which one you're talking about. No, there's more compilations that came out.
Okay, because that one that like Michael Knowles talked about that on the show last week or something.
Yes, yeah.
That video's old.
Yeah.
The one he talked about.
Yeah.
Because that's like 2 years old.
Maybe the compilations that I saw were old. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
but still, it still happens. Yeah.
But yeah, there's new compilations that I've seen that I've never seen before, because I've always saw them when they came out and everything. I still think my favorite one was that old guy that what got into the face. I think he was like he was a legislator, the new trans person. But anyways, and he came in like to his comic book shop, and
I'd have to say.
yeah, it was a sign
know.
that said something like, "If you got a dick, you're a man," or something like that. But anyways, but that one was like, a few years back. But yeah, if somebody came to that, you just start having to get violent with people, because that's what they need. You know, the whole protesting thing it's dumb. No, just start punching, start hitting. You know, that's the one thing that the stupid Antifa people got right, but they do it for a stupid cause.
Yeah, but it's effective.
Yeah. But yeah, the trans movement just needs to stop.
Most don't even want to address it that way. I don't even want. It's not. They're not transgender. It's not It's not a real word.
I know. Yeah, it doesn't really reference anything besides their own feelings. Yeah,
they made it up.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Caleb just asked where we. Oh, we should say that. Thank you, Caleb, for reminding me. April 7th, we're going to be doing a question and answer thing for the Patreon subscribers. I'm just going to mention that once or twice an episode till then, just so people remember.
Yeah.
But subscribe on Patreon. $5 a month. Be doing a monthly Q&A and actually doing it this time instead of me falling apart. Message me. If you message Jeremy, send us messages on YouTube, on the Patreon, emails at info@contragentiles.com, wherever you want to send it, it's fine.
Yeah.
If you have my phone number and you know me, text me, whatever, we'll compile them. But yeah, I just don't want to deal with it. I don't.
Oh yeah.
I just don't want to talk about transgender whatever. Like it's just such a waste of mental space.
Yeah.
I'm mad. I'm angry that I know what trans means. Like that occupies, mental space.
I know.
And I just don't. It's a waste.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
It's.
Yeah.
Is there anything more insane happening now?
Not that I'm aware of.
Ever to
Yes,
happen
yeah.
before?
No, I think it's definitely one of the most insane things. Probably not the most evil. I still would probably consider abortion
is
the
still
most
more
evil.
evil.
But yeah,
They're hand in hand.
yeah, but definitely the most insane. Just the most nonsensical. There's no sense to be made of what they're saying. And so yeah.
Let me see what else I've written down here. Yeah, and the Ugandan government is like,
Oh yes.
so they're going to start imprisoning people. Well, I don't know if that's exactly. I don't think they're going to actually start imprisoning people
Mm-hmm.
for just being. There's a nuance. It's not just like arrest all gay people. It's like the punishments are harsher for like homosexual sexual assault and stuff. It's like, like gay butt rape and stuff is like prosecuted more severely now.
Yes, yeah.
Just fine.
Yes, yeah. That's really where the harsher punishment comes from. Is just from rape.
Yeah.
And so, which I mean, there is a further degree of degradation when you ass rape another dude. And so it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you pervert.
It's more
perverted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, why not then?
Yeah. So I always thought that you can't legislate morality line is always stupid.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
It's like you can.
Yes.
You can make being a degenerate illegal.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, very easily. I do think there's a point that you just have to be prudent. And I really do think that's where, I don't know. I think that's where the whole legal system and I guess legislating of morality has to be taken into consideration.
Like, what do you mean?
Meaning that, I think that there is a mode where some on the right want to take the legislation of morality to a point that's not prudent, and so like one of them we've talked about in the podcast many times is like prostitution.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yes, you can legislate morality in that way, but I also don't think that that's prudent to do so.
Yeah.
I think there are some moral actions that we do that need to be criminalized, and there's some moral actions that we do that just need to be socially permissible.
Or socially condemned, but not illegal.
Yes, yeah, and that's what I mean. I should say legally permissible, not socially, but yeah, it should be legally permissible, because what I think the further consequences that you have, because this is where consequentialism is good, is when you talk about legality rather than morality, because whenever you begin to legislate morality, which is all laws essentially. I shouldn't say all laws, but most laws are about legalization of criminal laws about legalization of morality. You have to weigh out the options of the consequences of what you're outlawing, and so so I think when you do it imprudently, when you do it too pietistically, or you do it too puritanically, you tend to cause more disruption than if you allowed certain activities to become legal in a society. Like one of them, I do think that was a good move, was legalization of marijuana, because that's something that I personally will never do. I never was interested in.
Most people don't do that.
Yes, yeah. Like I'm not going to just smoke weed. I did think that making a war on weed was just imprudent. It caused much more problems. Like that's where most gangs in the U.S. started, because of fucking weed.
Yeah.
And then you further impoverish groups of people, whether they're white or black, because we have to remember a lot of them that got arrested were white in like Kentucky and shit.
Yeah.
That's harder for them to find work and so on and so forth. It's like, yeah, when you legislate morality, you have to take into account what kind of consequences you produce with the legalization of certain things. And I do think that, there are differences within drug use. I do think some drugs cause too much disruption if you allow it to be permissible and legal in a certain society that you shouldn't allow. I also think that that's true about a lot of the like medical drugs, the medical drugs that we kind of allow people to have right now. I think are also just far too destructive. And so I think, that's normally where the discussion of consequentialism or utility has to play a role.
Because that's all it is.
It is, yeah. So yeah, there are gravely immoral acts that I think would become far too disruptive to make it illegal. And so,
what's another example?
Lying.
Yeah,
I think lying is a gravely immoral act that we do, especially deliberate lying.
But you can't make that illegal,
right? Yes.
Yeah.
You start doing that, it's okay now. My
issue with our current system is that we've enshrined lying as like a right.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a positive right to lying, which is stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah. We don't have a right to it, but
I disagree with you, but I'll fight for your right to say it or something.
Yes,
that's dumb.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's certain lies that cause too much scandal that probably we need to legislate in terms of morality.
Like what? Like what's an example of something that we don't? It isn't illegal that should be.
Like transgenderism. I think that's a lie that's causing far too much scandal.
It should be just illegal to talk about it ever.
Yeah. And so I think we could pick at which lie we could condemn and make it illegal, but lying as a totality is like, fuck, everybody would be in jail. Yes, yeah. And so there are ways that we could take it too far. So yeah. Same thing like with sexual crimes and stuff. Like I know there if you look at older state statutes, there were things that they used to be illegal that it was like, okay, yeah, some either it wasn't enforced that much, or if it was enforced a lot, it was enforced for a temporary time. But then I do think there's some sexual behaviors that are more scandalous that probably need to be more regulated.
Illegal.
Yeah, rather than not. But shit, it's like I think people tend to forget that, especially conservatives, I should say. I think conservatives tend to forget that the sexual revolution, a lot of it happened as a reaction towards many of the puritanical laws and normativities that I think the U.S. had.
Yeah,
it didn't just come out of nowhere. It wasn't like just wants to be.
Way too much emphasis put on the sexual revolution.
It was, yeah.
I don't think it was actually that big of a turning point. I
Yes,
think it was a manifestation.
It was, yeah. I think it was a manifestation. I think it was a reaction. It was basically
it wasn't
to be
like
open.
a new thing.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
It's just like
it was going against like especially the heavy-handed social norms that really spawned in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah. Because
when you look at the 1920s, there were more liberal in terms of their sexual behavior that I think they cracked down on in the 40s and 50s. That then the 60s was kind of a breaking away from all of that.
Yeah.
And so
whatever, TV and movie censorship thing.
Yes.
I don't remember what the laws are called, but it's like 1967. I think they were dropped.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, I do think that it's just kind of a very difficult thing to maneuver when you begin to legislate morality, because if you don't take into account the consequences and you just look at
what do you think of sodomy laws per se? Any kind of homosexual activity is illegal.
Yeah, I don't think it should be. Yeah, I don't think sodomy with people.
But like acts of sexual violence that are already illegal should be punished more harshly.
Yes, yeah.
When it's more disordered.
Yes, yeah. It's the same way that I don't think bestiality should be illegal. Because I do think there are people with perverted sexual behaviors and drives that, it should just be back to the underground the way it was before. It was like
for all of human history.
yes, they had like gay clubs and they were going to it. It's like, fine, you know, just
donkey clubs.
yes, you just turn your back and say, okay, whatever. They're doing that. They're not bothering us. But then when you start making it in your face and start to put like gay marriage and people just needed to be outside, you know, being scandalous to children. It's like,
It's so weird that the sexual revolution was a reaction to the puritanical structures that preceded it, but then that same movement just wanted to adopt the puritanical
modes of being. Yeah.
But apply it to their
sexual perversions. Yeah. That's essentially what happened. And it's almost as if
I don't think the U.S. is incapable of not being.
I know. Yeah,
like
that's. We talked. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I remember we talked about that with Pete Quinones as well.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't think that there's a possibility.
Quinones,
yeah, that quinoa.
Peter Quinoa.
It's so much part of our ethos. Yeah. It's the same way that I don't think we can help but be dualistic. I think everything in the U.S. is there's a duality to everything because we're founded from like dualistic principles with
deism and
Protestantism.
What is deism?
It's a heresy.
I know, but what is how is it different than like
normal? So it's almost like a copy of a copy. So it began because
a copy of a copy.
Yes, and so you have to look at Protestant principles in order to understand deistic principles. Mm-hmm. So Protestant principles was that you have an en summum God. Mm-hmm. And that's an en summum God is loving and he's in the world and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And so from
all-knowing, all-powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so deism was the rejection of the personalism of the en summum God. But still en summum, but completely separate from interacting with humans and the world.
Okay.
Who set laws in motion.
So it's not impersonal.
Yes.
But it's
not personal.
But not present, almost.
Yes, not present, I guess. Yeah. Only the laws in which it perpetuated was present. And that's
so what's he doing now?
Just
to a deist.
I don't know. Drinking beer.
Like, where'd he go?
It's almost adopting, like we talked about last episode, but it's almost adopting that that entire what was it? Energies and essence type of thing. And so like the laws are kind of
extreme.
Yes. Yeah. Like the laws of nature that Isaac Newton talks about are like the energies of God. And so like you just release the energies, release the laws, but then just became completely impersonal and just left, but still exists.
Why would one think that?
Why would one want to think that?
Why would one think that?
Because because it was a rejection of Christianity.
But they didn't have access to the Catholic tradition or what?
No, I think that's a huge possibility. I don't know whether they had access to the writings, but definitely it was already a rejection of Catholicism. And then it developed into regions that were mostly Protestant.
Oh, and so they were just by default rejecting Catholicism.
Yes, yeah. By
so
default
they had to come up with...
Yes. And so the deists didn't really believe in Christ. They didn't believe in any of that stuff. They just believed more of...
Because a lot of American guys were...
Deists.
I hate founding fathers. I hate that.
Yes. Yeah.
It makes me cringe every time I hear it. Not my dad.
How about just the founders? Many of the founders of the nation. It just
feels corny. I can start to hear the national anthem playing in my head. I actually think the national anthem's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
But no, I don't remember what we were talking about.
The deists.
Why? I don't remember what we were talking about.
Foundational principles within the Puritanism.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the founders were either deists or Protestants or like a weird mixture of them.
Were there any Catholics?
I'm sure there were. But I don't know.
Should I look it up really quick? What should I Google? So American.
I'm pretty sure certain towns were Catholic, like Virginia.
Just all of Virginia. American founding fathers Catholic. Was anybody Catholic? And it would be interesting to go and kind of... Three founders. Three of them
were Catholic, yeah.
Charles and Daniel Carroll and Thomas Fitzsimmons of Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. That's why Pennsylvania still remains Catholic.
Ugh, John Adams was a Unitarian.
So
this is just really fucked.
Yeah, they're the ones that reject the Trinity, right?
Yeah. I would be interested to look into whoever the Catholics were, the founding Catholics.
Right, yeah.
And see how Catholic they were.
Yeah,
because I wonder if the Americans sucking at Catholicism thing,
started from the beginning.
That started.
Yes, yeah. Probably.
I'd be interested
if
to
they
know.
already were accepting the liberal ideology of the time.
They probably sucked at.
They had to be pretty shitty Catholics.
I would be curious to read if they wrote anything, like if Thomas Fitzsimmons of Pennsylvania wrote anything.
Yeah. Because what we call classical liberalism was not Catholic
at all.
Yes.
It was anti-Catholic.
Yeah, it never was. And so, yeah, I would think
that's another phrase I'd never want to hear again. Is classical liberalism.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said what they call classical liberalism.
No, it's super gay.
Yeah.
What would you call it? What would you?
Just liberalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the same lineage. It's not.
It is, yeah.
Being a lib today is just a continuation of quote unquote classical liberalism.
Yeah.
There's no. It's weird that
I think
people would just choose a time in liberalism.
Right.
Like,
rather than
Woodrow Wilson repurposed the term liberal. It's like, no.
Yes.
He furthered it.
Yeah.
He went farther than anybody else wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just think a lot of the whole foundation of the U.S. can't really escape what its essence. Yeah, what its essence really is. It's like dualism. I think Puritanism and rebellion. And I think it's always going to exist that way. There's always like a rebellion that it needs to overcome
against authority.
Mm-hmm.
It can't ever achieve stasis.
Yeah, it can't because that is the American ethos, and so if they're not,
and that really on paper might be what keeps it, perpetuates it forever.
Yes, yeah, the constant rebellion.
Yeah,
until it gets to something so stupid.
The perpetual revolution.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean,
communists couldn't even dream.
Yes. But I do think it's come to the point that we have nothing to really fight for, so now we're just making shit up.
The gender thing.
Yeah. It's what is there? The gender gap as well. Feminism. Like for the last 70 years.
What was the last one? Slavery was a real thing.
Yes. That's probably
Jim Crow laws were a real thing.
Yes.
To fight against whatever you think of them.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like that's a real thing.
Yeah. So probably since like the 1960s.
The Civil Rights Act was a real thing in certain places.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like after that.
Yeah, I think it's just been made up shit after made up shit. Because slavery really, the whole slavery thing was probably the biggest shift that we caused in the world besides like our American political system.
Voting and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that,
I think those two things are what, if we look like 1,000 years from now, what the U.S. actually
will be remembered for.
Yeah. So the abolition of slavery, that still might come back.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's sustainable. There's still a large part of the world.
Sustainable.
Yeah. There's still a large part of the world that has slavery.
I think it'll be that way in the West for a very, very long time. But.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the abolition of slavery.
I also think economically we just don't need slaves. I mean, the slaves there are still slaves. Yeah. We still have them, but they're
different. Yes.
Called employees.
I should say I should say the rephrasing.
Like chattel, however you say it, slavery.
Yes. I think the restructuring of what it means to be a slave is what we really did.
Yeah.
More than actually abolish it. But we did abolish the old way of existing with slaves.
Yeah.
I think we have made a system where people now are yearning for slavery. And so...
what do you mean?
I mean that people want to be enslaved.
Oh, like employment.
Yes.
Like getting degrees to work for other people.
Yeah, yeah. I think now you have people seeking it because it's almost as if the main difference is that you brought some kind of bartering system to the enslaved. It's like they some way have a way to play a role,
or you get
play
to choose how you're enslaved.
and how you're enslaved. Yeah, and what you can offer, and that you, there is growth
Instead
away
of buying
from
the slaves sell themselves now.
Yes, yeah. And there's ways to grow out of it. And I think that's one of the main differences.
Well, you could be a priest.
You could be a priest, but I mean,
You're
it's
a
like,
slave to the church.
it's,
in a
it's
good
like,
way, but
it's that you yourself can become a master.
yeah.
And I think that's where the difference is that
Yeah.
you can manipulate the system a lot easier now in order to become a master so you can enslave others.
Mhm.
And so the potential of growth is what's fundamentally different about our slave
The
system.
voluntary nature of it,
Yeah.
or the greater degree of
Yes. Yeah. And I
volunteering.
think that part might be here to stay for thousands of years.
Mhm.
But there always has to be a structure of masters and
Because it does
And
seem
that's
like
just like,
it's more efficient
mm-hmm.
to let people appeal to their aptitudes
Yes, yeah, I agree.
and sell them.
Yeah. If they know what their aptitudes are.
Yeah, which we've kind of stopped.
Yeah.
We've kind of stopped educating people as to how to know.
Yeah. I think some European countries are doing much better in terms of
Germany's very good at it.
Yeah, about determining people's aptitudes.
Mhm.
Tracking systems, I think, are just a much better system.
Because you do get choice in that still.
You
It's
do,
not-
yes, yeah. But they put you on a right track, and yeah, it's good for you.
Belgium does that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the German and German adjacent speaking.
And they have much less anxiety as
Mhm.
young people in terms of their career, anyways. I think now with all sexual confusion, they're probably just as anxious. But at least in terms of the career,
I wonder how the gender thing is going in different parts of Europe.
I'm sure a lot of places. I know France says they're not. That's why Macron
Like
kinda
the
wanted to
UK is
stop it.
ravaged by it,
Or UK, I think, is pretty hard. I think Germany is getting hit hard by it too.
but France isn't as much.
Yeah, France isn't as much.
I bet Spain would be.
Probably not as much either. Then
Spain's pretty.
probably depends on which parts of Spain.
because Spain is pretty
Yeah,
libbed out in a
Yeah.
lot of places.
Yeah.
They were like the third country in the EU to do the gay marriage thing.
Oof.
They were
Yeah,
number
that's
3
pretty-
after
yeah.
Belgium. No, the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
And I don't remember which one. I
Yeah.
think they were the third.
Hmm.
It was like 2005 or something.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, Portugal probably isn't ravaged by it.
No, but they're also not nearly as economically successful.
No, they're not. Yeah.
That's what I want. Is when I think of a place to go live
Yeah.
where everybody's like, I don't actually care if, when people are like, like you say, like Croatia's 79% or 88% Catholic or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're like, well, they're kind of, marginally okay. I don't care. I
Still,
don't
yes,
care.
yeah.
I don't care to what degree
Yeah.
people are Catholic if everybody just is Catholic.
Yes. If that's the default position.
Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Really don't care.
Yeah.
If their default position is to just like have a picture of the Pope on their fridge. Like I
Yes,
just like
yeah.
that's
Yeah, I agree.
like I don't care. They don't have to be flogging themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me to care.
And what's also interesting is that in those type of places,
Yeah.
even the secularists are just Catholic in mode
Yeah.
in the way that they operate, but they're just having they like take all the Catholic type of ethics and way of being and mannerisms, but they place it in an anti-Christian way, and so it's
But,
much much more pleasing.
And I was like, I would sacrifice half of my standard of living to live somewhere sane.
yeah.
Maybe not half. Maybe
20%.
yeah, fifth.
Yeah.
Which is it's not insignificant.
Yeah.
Like Portugal, easy
Oh
immediately.
yeah.
I'd go live in a shitty Portuguese town
Oh yeah. Yeah.
easily, immediate. Like literally, if someone bought me a ticket and was like, "Yeah, you can just go live,
Yeah.
just go whatever," I'm like, "Okay, bye, done."
Yes.
Like it's like if tomorrow somebody was like, "I've given you this tiny chunk of money to try
Yeah.
to go do something
Mhm.
somewhere more sane.
Oh yeah.
Here's the ticket. You leave in a month."
Yeah.
Like zero
Yeah.
hesitation at all.
No, I would agree.
Like none. Like
Yeah.
like the degree to which I would not have to think about it
Yeah.
like astounds me.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's-
that was one of the things that I actually thought of as well. I mean, like after the administration is done, like I also was thinking, it was like, I couldn't move to a different state, probably get paid a good salary or whatever. But then I also thought to myself, but if I take the same skill level to a different country,
maybe that's
like I probably could even live better because like they'll pay you more. And like in different in various countries, even in Peru, it's like two of my relatives are just high school teachers, and they have like 2 maids. Right?
what?
Yes, and because they were educated, they went to in college, I think in Europe.
Yeah,
and so I think they got
came
like
back.
they got like master's degrees or
Where
whatever.
do they live?
In just in Lima.
Isn't Lima in like the middle of a desert?
No, it's by the beach.
But it's a desert. Like it's like
It's sandy. Yeah.
No, but I mean like there's like it's one. I think it's the largest city in the world in a desert.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's completely desert around it.
Oh, okay. But
It's like because most of the country's like a rainforest.
Yes,
but then that part's like like barren, living on the surface.
Yeah,
of the
well,
moon.
it's a huge city. Though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
10 million people or something.
Yeah,
15 million people, something.
It's like it's on a strip, and so it's all on a strip of the coast.
like Chicago on
yes,
the lake.
yeah. Or California.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like it's a coastal city.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, shit. Can you? Imagining, like, oh yeah, for an American government system, I have all these degrees from Europe. And then, if I went over there to apply, I probably could get a pretty decent life.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, but it's funny that you said that because I really was thinking about it. I was like, wow, I could actually.
Because I don't want to be here. I don't.
Yeah.
Like that's probably my biggest thing. That I've been doing a lot of introspection.
Yeah.
And stuff, and like, okay, this is my life is now. What I want my life to look like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's. And I don't have any children. I don't have a wife. I won't be having any of those. I could, if I wanted to, I could maneuver anywhere.
Yes.
If I wanted to do the work.
Yeah.
It's just like,
you definitely can.
I just don't. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
No, almost anywhere comfortable in the world is struggling with it. With the crazy gender stuff, with the race stuff, not with the race stuff.
The gender shit, definitely.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Places will deal with it how they will, but I don't see it lasting for. I see it as a transitory thing.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
How long do you think it will last? Another 10 years?
If not a little bit more. Because when would we put a start? Because it's been brewing for a long time.
Yes, yeah.
But I don't think it reached a fever pitch in like the early 2010s is when it really started to make its way into like the Tumblr youth kind of scene. Like you started seeing it crop up in high schools more and more.
Yeah,
middle schools and stuff, like everybody was gay and then everybody was lesbian and everybody was bisexual and then pansexual, and the flags started coming out in like 2012, 13.
Yeah.
And then
you're right. It was brewing because even in the late 90s it was. But
it was still like a fringe thing at that point.
Like I was surprised. I was rewatching a 90s show that people probably know about. So anybody that knows about this is probably going to call me a fag or whatever. But the one show that I did like, especially like the first 2 seasons, was Ally McBeal.
What is that?
It's a 90s show.
Yeah.
With Callista Flockhart. And it was a good show. Anybody that hasn't experienced that, I guess if we have a young audience, it's kind of a girly show, but it's actually quite funny. It's entertaining. But
I think my mom had this on video.
Super 90s. If you look at like the intro, it has like all those 90s type of graphics.
Oh yeah.
The song is like, but yeah, I was watching the Hulu game. I was like, oh man, I haven't seen this for so long. But even that show, I think it was 1997 when it came out.
Yeah.
Even that show in the first season had an episode with a tranny in it. And so
Like, but what kind of tranny? Like
full, like she thought that he was a chick.
and how did they? Then it was just that was what it was. And no one
No, and
acknowledged
so it was about like already kind of showing that you should at least have care for them. But everybody was saying that no, it's a dude. But when you said that it was brewing for a long time, I think it was brewing since the mid 90s.
Yes,
The mid 90s, I would say that's when you really saw the transgender.
You can trace it back for 100 years.
Even more so. Yeah, I agree. But
I mean, like in everybody's face,
yes,
all the time,
just showing
everybody's
in pop
transitioning,
culture and everything. And then it accelerated what you said, like in the
early
2000s, maybe 2010s or something.
Early mid 2010s is when it really started.
Yes, and I think that's when it just accelerated like rapidly.
Yeah,
it was weird because I remember what you're talking about because they came out with a show I Am Jazz around that same time, and it was just like everywhere was about transgenderism, and it was just and at first I just kept calling them like transvestites because that was the term that we used to use. We used to use
I Am Jazz is 2015.
2015, yeah.
But that's even later.
That is, yeah.
Because that's when it was. That's when it had brewed and long enough
that they made a whole show about it.
It was on that there was a market for it on TV.
Yes, yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah, it was strange because at first I thought that they at least realized that they weren't actually women, but that they were just trying to be nice. But now it's as if they just started to
want them to be women.
Yeah, just believe in their own bullshit. It's weird.
Yeah.
So
because all the language that they use,
they
talk about, and the dead naming, and all the different sexualities and the different genders and stuff, that's been around for 15 years.
Yes, yeah,
if not longer.
Yeah,
but I mean, around and have been a prolific way for
exactly.
Like
it's been brewing for longer, but yes, it became.
I think that's kind of why I think what causes me dissonance is I started encountering this stuff in like
when you were in high school,
2009, 10, 11.
Yes, and when did you graduate? I know you told
2014.
Me okay,
yeah.
So it's like middle school, you started to experience.
Yeah, but I mean, I was on Tumblr and stuff, and like,
shit.
So like.
Can you explain to me Tumblr again? Can you explain to me what it is? Because you said that was the porn.
What did they call it? No, there was a lot of porn.
Okay.
As there is on every social media, like Twitter has a ton of porn on it.
No, does it really?
Oh yeah.
What?
It does a really good job of not randomly exposing it to it.
I thought porn. I thought Twitter just was words. How is there like video porn?
There's video. What are you talking about? Twitter has
you could
video
embed videos, but like.
Yeah, people embed porn. There's porn, tons of porn accounts.
But you can't like upload your own video on Twitter, can you?
Yeah.
You can?
Yes.
I thought you had to take it like from YouTube or something.
No.
Oh, like you could film and then upload on Twitter. I didn't know that.
Oh my God. Yeah, you can put photos and stuff and like.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I really did not know this.
Weird. You just never tried.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
you never had reason to know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, because I thought Twitter was specifically like words and like taking screenshots and doing stuff like that. But I didn't think it was like you could upload your own content. Like we could upload our episode on Twitter.
I think there's a time limit on videos.
Oh, okay.
It's like 2 minute, 20 second or something.
Okay, but they don't have their own media player, right?
I think that certain news outlet there's a way to upload longer stuff, but I don't know how to do that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they've gotten rid of the time limit or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But Tumblr, I think they called it a micro blogging platform.
Oh. Okay.
So imagine if MySpace, where you have your own page that you can design, along with a feed. So there's a feed of just posts that you can like or comment on. Or reblog was the thing. And then it would take that, you would reblog it, quote unquote, and then it would be uploaded to your to your page. So if people click on your username, it would take you to your page thing.
Yes.
But there's also a dashboard feed.
Yeah.
So there's like the platform, but then everybody has their own individual little page they make also. So
Okay.
it's like a everybody has their own little blog, but they're all kind of organized in a feed unless you go to theirs.
Oh, okay.
It's really like probably was in its heyday I think the best social media platform by
Really?
far.
Tumblr.
Yeah, easily. Like being on Tumblr in 2009, 10, 11.
Yeah.
That was like
That was
peak.
so. What happened? Like, why is it out of fashion? Just
Verizon bought it in like
Verizon.
in 2015 or something.
Why would Verizon buy a social media company? That's just weird.
No, Yahoo bought it, and then Verizon bought Yahoo.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot. It just fell into purchasing. Twitter started to kind of cross pollinate with what you could do on Tumblr. It started to incorporate. I don't remember when they introduced quote tweeting on Twitter. But there was kind of it started to bleed. Tumblr wasn't as unique anymore.
Oh, okay.
And
So Twitter.
and then they banned Verizon bought it, and then they banned porn on it, and then everybody left.
Oh,
Like it died. Like they started heavily censoring content.
Oh,
They were just like, okay, well, there's no reason to be on here if it's this heavily censored.
Yeah.
Like I remember.
So if they didn't do that, there would still be probably kind of big.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that there could be a whole. I'm sure people have done documentaries on the death of Tumblr, which would be I would watch
because it was pretty big, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never been on it, so I don't know, but I heard the name many times.
Yeah.
Like throughout the.
Yeah, it's totally dead. Not dead. People still use it, but it's not.
Yeah. And the other one that used to be pretty popular was what's that called again? Reddit, right?
Reddit's still huge.
That's still pretty big.
I don't know numbers wise. It might be bigger than Twitter.
And that one is different, right? That's more like
forums.
Forums.
They're subreddit forums.
Oh, okay.
So you have a little subreddit, and that's a cat. It's like your forum, and then you can have little categories in it, and then it's just like discussion boards.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it kind of combines kind of a Facebook-ish kind of.
Yeah.
You can follow all these things and have a feed, but then it also is kind of a more old school forum kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you ever wanted to like read like product reviews or figure out how to do something, put your question in or your thing in and then go Reddit, and it's really, really useful.
Is it really?
Yeah. Searching for stuff on Reddit is way better than Google.
Oh, okay.
Google sucks now. The search engine optimization has ruined it.
Is it? Yeah.
Because you can guarantee that your thing pops up at the top of every search if you just learn how to play the algorithm.
Yeah.
So like, you know how it used to be you could Google stuff and you could actually find what you wanted.
Yeah.
But now it's like you Google stuff and you have to like sift through tons and tons of pages of like ads and websites that are just like major like random stuff that just kind of has kind of to do with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then it won't. There's also the like must include thing.
Yeah.
You know that like you search something kind of specific.
Yeah.
And then it gives you results, and then underneath it they're like, oh, do you want it to include this part of what you?
Oh yeah.
It's like yes, that's why I searched it. You know.
Yeah. You can think of like I'm a really huge grandpa, but I still use Yahoo. And so
really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why?
Because I always found Yahoo actually finds the things I'm searching for.
What do you say Yahoo? You say
Yahoo.
Yahoo. Yahoo.
Yahoo.
I use Yahoo.
Yeah. Well, it's because we're like
Yahoo.
when I'm searching for something, what you're saying always bothered me about Google.
Yes,
like,
and Google has really, really good search engine optimization algorithms.
Yeah.
And it makes it really hard to search for anything.
Yeah. And so Yahoo always I could type in what I'm looking for and get it. So the only time I ever use Google is if I'm looking for an address because it has like the Google Maps embedded into it.
JC, I'm not telling you what my Tumblr URL was. It's still up and it's very gay.
What's a Tumblr URL?
It's your username that you could type your URL into the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does URL stand for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, Universal Record Language. There we go.
What if I just Google URL uniform resource locator?
Yeah, no,
I
it was
wasn't.
close.
That was. I wasn't gonna know that. Uniform resource locator.
Yeah. Yahoo is a good one. So is do you remember Ask Jeeves?
Yes, I thought you were about to say Bing or something,
No.
and everybody like assassinates you. I'm a Bing guy. I could see you being an idiot, like a Bing guy. When you say use Yahoo, I'm like, that's weird, but
Yeah.
like it's kind of weird. If you were like a Bing guy, I'd be like, what's wrong?
Yeah, I've never used Bing before. But yeah, that was just my because and that's still the first website I go to
Yahoo.
is Yahoo. Yeah.
Yahoo.
Yeah. So like when
Yahoo.
he's like, yeah, like if it's the morning and I'm just like, I just go YA, it always comes up because I think the thing I liked about Yahoo was that it has news
Yeah.
along with the search engine. And so it was closer to what we had in our generation, like Netscape.
Yeah.
And I don't think Netscape exists anymore. Let me see. Maybe it does.
Netscape. Yeah.
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Rip.
It looks like it just directs you to AOL now.
That's another generation of.
Yes. So that's like my generation of stuff is AOL, Netscape. Then there was like I forgot the other one. And so back then, all search engines always had news with it. And so that is just...
Would any of your kids know what AOL is?
I don't think so. Maybe Elijah. I think they've heard me talk about it before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just because
So
of
not in
me.
a way that counts.
No.
Okay.
Because back then we used to have to get the discs from cars
Yeah.
because it was dial-up. But when you went dial-up, it wasn't free still. You needed some kind of server like to go onto.
Yeah.
And so you would have to get the AOL sample disc, and it was like 15-day free trial. And so we just went every 15 days to cars and pick up the 15-day free trial. And there was no like tracking of keys back then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was just like, you just type it in, you put in your key, and then you have internet. And so that was like,
Oh my God. That's awesome.
yeah, that's what we did for years.
That's funny. Is like when you say like AOL and stuff, like the logo, the little triangle logo with the guy.
Yes. Yeah. And it was, so yeah, search engines changed a lot fucking throughout the years. Let me see if I could show you Netscape's logo, if you remember. It looked like this. It was, yeah. And so that
when was that defunct? It'll tell you.
Yeah, when did they buy them out? Netscape stock traded in 99. 2003
Was when it went defunct.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's like an early memory. But
Oh,
I definitely.
But then they continued the Netscape browser until 2007.
Okay. Because I definitely.
Yep. So 2007, AOL announced the company would stop supporting it.
I'm so glad I didn't grow up with this internet. I grew up with the old internet. I grew up with like a more advanced old internet.
Yes, yeah, that transition time you grew up when YouTube started to get YouTube was 2005.
I remember, yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was around for all that.
Yeah,
I was young, but
right, yeah. But yeah, like if the 90s was the Wild West of the internet, which it definitely was.
yeah,
I think the early 2000s was like the, how would you put it? It was like the developing period. It was like, it was still had a lot of the like creativity of the Wild West, but it was just much more refined.
yeah.
And you could,
But it was kind of the same.
Yes.
It was just the more advanced and refined.
yeah, it was more advanced, more refined,
the
more
same
pretty.
era.
Like some of the websites back then were just so ugly. I can't even explain just how bad they looked.
Oh, I know.
It was like the 90s internet was not pretty, and it was a bit creepy.
Oh yeah, but it was like an uncanny valley
It was,
kind
yeah.
of thing. Like it felt
It was different.
the mediation was more obvious.
Yes, yeah. It was ever more obvious, but there
The
was
sound design was creepier. The
Yes,
graphics were
it was
creepier.
creepy. There was no telling what you're gonna encounter. Like everything now, Like I know the internet is like a wealth of information and everybody would talk about it. And back then it was different, but it was just so experimental that some of the websites really were though just, so nonsensical. It's just bizarre. It's like, why did it even
like
exist?
art projects and stuff.
Yeah, like weird art projects. So many people, because now you have to like pay to make a website. Back then, it was just like people just making websites. They didn't pay any monthly fee. Like I knew people that didn't pay anything.
Yeah,
they just the only thing I had to pay for was like the actual URL if they wanted to be official. But many of them were like free, like .biz was free, and all these other type of websites were free. And but then they had to do all the coding, like the entire coding was just them, and it was it was weird. I wonder if more my old roommates one is still here. Poignant, Sanglant.
What is that? What?
Yeah, he had his own website. But I don't remember if it was .com or .org or something. Because it was just free that he had.
What was it?
Just random stuff, ideas in his head. Just
weird
images. Because this was before social media or whatever. And so a lot of people that made their own website, how do you spell poignant?
Poignant?
Yeah.
Poignant. Poignant.
Maybe it's, I can't find it. I should write him sometime and see if he still has it. But yeah, I mean, it was just like black and it's got like poignant sanglant or whatever on there.
What does that mean?
I think it was French. It was a French word. And
poignant.
Poignant.
It's poignant.
Poignant. Okay.
Yeah. Poignant. Sanglant. There's no way to know if you're even saying the second word right.
Most likely not. I remember him like working on it because everything was HTML. So we're just like making these websites and all this stuff. And he'd work hours on it. It was just weird. I'm always going to remember.
Does he work in coding now?
I don't know what he's doing now, actually. But yeah, it was anybody that's like 40 years old or 50 years old that experienced that, or I don't know if we have anybody that age listening, but if they do, they're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. It was just everything about.
We definitely do, because Jason just asked, remember LiveJournal?
Yes, and
yeah.
What else? Yeah, it was just so.
Like when we get people like in the chat, and I'm like, I've never seen that person before. I
yes,
could not guess who it is.
The baby dancing one.
Oh,
it was just, yeah. But I don't think that website exists anymore. Dancing Baby. Let me see. Nope, it just
URL grab.
Yeah, but you just put in dancingbaby.com. And it was like, ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka. It was just baby dancer. It was like, that's what I mean. It's like you really didn't know.
That was definitely still around. I remember that.
Yeah. I think that one was like 96, 97. And
yeah, I think they would have made them. And then once their license runs out, if they bought like a 10-year license or something for a URL, or
there was no way to know what the fuck you're going to see.
The thing where you're like, bigblackcock.com. I wonder what's going to happen.
Yes, yeah.
Because we all had computers in like elementary school.
Yes,
You're like typing in something ridiculous. And like,
yes, yeah.
There were some that were.
Yeah, and then there was like that weird,
mm-hmm.
The hamster dance one.
Dude, mm-hmm. Jason, whoever, I don't know, maybe I know who Jason is and I'm being rude. But he said hamster dance. Like,
yes,
like 2 minutes ago.
Yes, yeah.
That's fun.
And yeah, we just the Faces of Death was one of the biggest one. That was amazing. We're just like images of dead people. It was like
I think this JC person is just going to make it a thing that just we never know who it is.
I know, yeah.
We've made enough of a point of it.
He's going to be the online character persona for us.
Yeah,
JC.
We're like, let's check in with JC. Yes. And then one day he just disappears. No one ever knows what happened to him.
Yeah, but damn, those were very interesting times. Um, yeah. Then you probably know about some of the 2000 ones like Newground.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that was before YouTube. And so a lot of those videos were like a Newground, but they also had like those Flash games and everything.
Newground, like the like Flash animation videos and
Yes,
stuff, like
yeah.
comedy series. And like,
Yeah. That was very unique because that was like one of the very first ones.
the video hosting.
Yeah, that was conglomerated. It wasn't just fragmented websites. It was like you could go to a website and see all this kind of shit that people were making and experimenting
You
with.
could have accounts on things to post your own stuff.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that was that was very unique about that one. But yeah, but then YouTube is, I mean, even till today they're still dominant, but when they came on the scene in 2005, I really do think I think 2005 was like the beginning of a new era with internet, because I think during that time is when you saw MySpace really take off.
Yeah.
And you saw like social media. It was like 2000 between 2004 and 2005, somewhere around there. There was a transition.
Yeah.
And it was no longer like this Wild West, but now was more. It started to become more curated, more larger conglomeration of websites started to, put things together for everybody, and it became more coherent.
Yeah.
I think it was just incoherent back then. You weren't even
easily. Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to use any resources from the internet in the 90s, like understandably.
Yeah.
Right, because like when Wikipedia came out, it was like, holy shit.
Because Wikipedia is pretty good now.
Yeah, now they're actually extremely good. Back then, it would change within the hour. You look at it, and would you read the next hour?
Do they let kids cite Wikipedia now?
I don't think they let you cite Wikipedia yet, but people still use it. And they
yeah, because I remember it was you couldn't for a long time. It was you couldn't cite Wikipedia, and then some teachers, the cool ones, would be like, you can use Wikipedia, but you have to cite what they're citing.
Yes, yeah, I think that's what they start doing now.
Okay.
But
I remember when it was like,
yeah,
it was ridiculous if you had like a website citation.
Yeah, like we weren't allowed to at all. Even my my undergrad years, 2000, 2001, 2002, you weren't allowed to have I think in my senior year they started to, and MLA and APA,
yeah,
and Chicago style, they all came out with official standards, I think around 2002 or 2003, of how to cite websites, because before that it just was non-existent.
Yeah,
like we didn't even know how to cite it. But those go through evolution. I think every year they update how to cite on websites.
So crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a huge. It was a huge thing, but I really do think it was understandable. Just remembering the internet back then, there was no telling what the fuck information you're getting. Now at least they do have citations, but now you can't even trust the citations anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can't. I almost feel like you should. What makes a book more reliable than the internet?
Anymore, nothing anymore. Back then it was just peer review. That was really the main thing that separated it. But now most things on the internet are also peer reviewed.
Oh, okay. So it's not a fault of the book. It's just that the internet caught up.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, the internet now, they have to go through a lot of reviews. Like Wikipedia isn't just posting anything anymore. Like you normally have to give the citations and everything if you're going to post something up. If not, they just take it down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for the most part that is what separates information if it's reviewed by the specialist within that field.
Yeah.
But yeah, the internet back then, it was weird. I liked it
because it didn't take very long for the internet to be completely untrustworthy.
Yeah.
To being trustworthy.
Yeah.
To now being completely untrustworthy again.
Yeah, I know.
With the AI thing.
Yeah.
Because it'll be very soon that you can't trust anything you see on the internet at all. You can't trust that anything was actually
Yeah, because
that images are real or not. Or
yeah.
you'd be like, oh well, AI can't handle rendering hands. It's like now.
Yes,
Let's
of course.
check in
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, that's something that obviously I think we'll catch
They'll
up.
work. Yeah, obviously.
But I also do think now with the problem is that you can't trust information at large. It isn't just the internet. I think you can't trust the specialists anymore. You can't trust peer review anymore. Because I think what happened isn't so much the fault of the internet. I think what happened is that the ones who became the peer reviewers are now all tainted with a skewed ideology. And so that's really what I think the problem is. Because
So it's not a structural problem; it's an ideological problem.
I think so. Yeah, I think now that's really
Well, the structure hasn't really been different forever.
Yeah.
Quote unquote peer review has been
yes, yeah,
the norm for all of human history.
yes, exactly. Yeah,
People have to vet information.
Yep. Yeah, I think that this is the part that there's many things that I disagree, like with the Daily Wire host, but the way that the Daily Wire host hates credentialism, I think is dumb. It's like, no, there's nothing wrong with credentialism. I do think credentials by masters of a certain discipline
It's necessary to
yes,
know.
it's
Someone has
important.
to be the authority on something.
Yes. I think the problem is that all of our masters right now are
You just
fucked
can't
up.
trust them.
Yeah, they're all stupid.
Yeah.
So it isn't the problem of there being credentials. It's the problem is that those who are giving out the credentials don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And so we need to clean slate and start putting in there with people who know what they're talking about, and then you could trust their credentials again. Because we do need that. I mean, if you're hiring for a job,
imagine if every person on earth had to figure things out for themselves.
exactly. Yeah. There's it's especially since the Daily Wire hosts say that they're conservative. It's like, no, the way that you conserve tradition is by having credentials by other people who know what they're talking about, who has the wisdom passed on to them from age to age to age, and then they pass it down onto you. That's the point of having credentials, is that you're saying that you studied under this person who studied under this person who studied under this person, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
There's a wealth of knowledge that is being conserved through generations through credentials. So no, I mean, credentialism I think is a good thing, is that we need credentials, but the problem is that all these PhD people now are just a bunch of dumbasses. And so
what I think is actually not a terrible thing
yeah,
for humanity at large
Right.
over the long term
yeah,
is that the vast majority of the intellectual work of the last 20 years about on various insane topics like gender,
yeah,
etc., are not in print. It's all on the internet. So
Yes,
if the plug is ever actually pulled, it all disappears.
It all disappears. Yes, yeah,
it's gone. Like
yes, yeah,
so much of it is digital.
yes,
Like a huge proportion of subversive information
all digital.
and academic
Yeah.
work just gone in a
Yeah.
second. If for any reason
It collapses.
servers big enough go down,
Yeah,
this is gone.
yeah. But the information can never come back.
Yeah, so it's like it's not like it would be like burning the Library of Alexandria,
Right. Yes.
but for only useless information.
Yeah.
Like copies, like every book every work that actually matters
Mhm.
is in print.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any work that matters truly that isn't
That's
printed.
just online.
Just by
Yeah.
nature of the time and why we're like what we're thinking now.
Yeah.
I just think it's aligned up that it's like all of this information that kind of, hangs fragilely in the balance
Yeah.
on hard drives. It's not that big of a deal because
No, that part is good.
it won't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it feels like a really significant moment in history,
Mm-hmm.
living it, but I don't think it will be in the long run. I think it's just going to be,
It's gonna fizzle out,
it'll fizzle out and
or at least it will be what propels to a significant moment.
Yes.
I think that the more that we degrade as a civilization, the more likely we are to be overtaken by another civilization that's stronger.
Yeah.
And so, like, it could be, like if you read Augustine's City of God, it could be like that description of how Rome was just shit at that point.
Yeah.
That then they were sacked. It could be that.
Yeah.
Because I really do think somewhere like Russia or China can really give us a hard time, or at least
but I don't think that they're
at least
internally strong enough for it.
They're not.
I just think.
But I think they could cause enough destruction as not as to where they take us over, but as to where it makes it more difficult for us to recover.
Oh, I don't think there's recovery for us.
Yeah, unless they kill the right people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they kill the ones we actually want them to.
Yes, yeah. Then there's the point of recovery. If they just attack like L.A. and New York and all these places, it's like, oh, thank you. We didn't have to do it ourselves. Because it's always like
that's your clean slate.
Yes, yeah. No, because like,
could you guys get Chicago too?
Oh yeah, come on, you guys, open up a path for them.
Austin.
Yes, yeah, it's Austin. No, but what's funny is that and I know people
state of Massachusetts.
People said it many times, but when you look at the map of like the red states with the blue states, it's always shocking how much of the country is red.
Geographically.
Yeah, geographically, that if there was a strategic attack on some of these areas,
major cities.
Yes, the coastal cities, essentially, you just attack the
which
coast.
are the most economically important in the moment.
Yes, yeah. Just start in Seattle, Oregon, California, just eliminate all that, and then you go to the east.
Yeah.
The same thing, just go down the coast. And and then we're like, oh, thank you guys. And we'll take over here, we'll rebuild. Thank you.
Trump was strategically in the middle of the country.
Yes, yeah.
He was in Kansas or something.
But yeah, that's
because I don't think that the civilizational decline is inevitable for all civilizations.
Of course, yeah,
but I
always.
think that directly comparing the collapse of different,
mm-hmm.
the most accurate comparison you can make is they didn't exist, they started to exist, they were great, and then they collapsed. Okay, all civilizations do that, but the specifics of it are never the same.
No, yeah, the
timeline is never the same.
Yeah, the timeline isn't the same. I think just the overarching theme is the same.
But that's it.
Is that civilizations do go through a moral decay, and that's normally what you first see. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I mean, they could be sacked by a different civilization. It could just be civil war.
But I don't think sacks look like what they used to.
No. Yeah, exactly. Or even the way the wars don't look like what they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think the different ones fall from just corruption from within.
There's no U.S. falling like Rome. That just doesn't happen. That's not the same.
Yes, yeah.
It won't even look like, people might not even know it. Like, it's so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but yeah, because I do think if we do get into a war that we are attacked, I think it's just going to be fundamentally different because I think
the entire world will collapse. I
think the way that it's happening in Ukraine is the way that war looks nowadays.
It's just long wars of
I think it's just
proxy wars of attrition.
Yeah. I think that's all it is. I think in the end, nobody really overtakes anybody. It's the same way that we did in the Middle East. It's like, we're not actually overtaking. We're not conquering.
We're not incorporating.
We just like destroy. And then we're just left building things up again. Yeah. And I think that's really where if there was any kind of different nations coming after us, and I don't think it will be like smaller ones. I think it will just be larger. Russia just because he feels like it, or China because they feel like it, or Iran because they feel like it. I think it would just be larger countries. But in the end, they're not going to.
But none of them are internally stable enough to do it.
And I don't think any of them actually want to take us over.
No.
I think it would just be sending bombs. That's all it would be.
Yeah. Sending
bombs, sending nukes, and then we do it back. And then there's not going to be really any foot soldiers. It's just going to be destruction. And it's going to be mutual destruction. And it's not even going to look like World War II. Like I know those wars were more contemporary than the old ones, but it's not even.
But they
look
were
like
a culmination of old wars.
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
I think any kind of global war that we're going to have would be one of just bombs and drones and
cyber attacks.
Yeah, cyber attacks.
It really could just be cyber attacks.
Or that, yeah.
I don't even think they have to bomb anything. I think you just take out.
But I don't
take out enough of a grid, and it's like
yes,
everything's digital, so it's like your economy's dead.
But it seems like they're not really even ambitious to take over land anymore.
No.
Not, the U.S. isn't even. I mean, like,
well, I think it was we. There's no real reason to do it anymore.
Yeah,
it's not like you have enough space. You have everybody has enough resources.
Yes, yeah.
Every every geographically large country on Earth has enough oil resource.
Yeah,
they're everywhere.
Right. Yes,
you can make oil anywhere.
Yeah. Because when you think of the Middle East wars that we had in the last 20 years, 20 or 30 years now, I'm starting with the first Bush, none of it was what was really the point? It's like when you really look at it, whenever we look at historical wars.
Was Desert Storm the last? Because Desert Storm was an operation.
Right, yeah.
They went in.
Yeah.
And they took it. They gave it back. We should have.
Yeah.
Kuwait should have just become part of the U.S. But,
yeah.
So with Afghanistan could be the 51st state or something.
Yes. Yeah. Because I think
that's why France, all of their overseas territories, there's no territory. It's France.
Right.
It's part of France.
Yeah. Yeah.
France, the country of France is exists in 14 time zones.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah.
They don't have territories. There is France.
Yeah.
And those places are France.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but the time of colonization, stuff like that, it just doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it doesn't need to. It's really people have enough space.
Yeah.
No one.
But you really think that?
Well, they think
that
about
was the
it.
Reason
the
why,
thing that happens now is countries splitting.
Yeah.
That's what happens now.
Oh yeah, I would love it if we did.
No, I
know we talked about that, but yeah, rather than get into a world conflict, if it was just us splitting and fighting each other, that'd be amazing. Yeah, just do it. Yeah, that would be it.
That way you could leave.
Yes, with that. I think
you could just get out.
I also do think it would just be a glorious poetic ending to what the country was.
The insanity, yeah.
The country was a war of revolution, and we revolutioned ourselves out of our own revolution.
Yes.
It's that would be. It was like you could close that book,
and then both sides, claim
that they're the real America.
They're the real America, and they're the ones that revolted against the other.
Yes, yeah. I think it would just be a good ending. If okay, that it's done. That chapter is done. Now they keep them bickering. It's going to continue forever. But that chapter of the American Empire will be over at that point. The moment that we just start blowing each other up.
Yeah. It's like Vietnam, Korea, Sudan, Serbia.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What was the last example of a country taking over another country?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe during Nazi Germany, he took over a lot of land.
Yeah, but so after that.
After that, it was done.
They split everything up, and all that's been happening is splitting.
Yeah. That's all that's been happening. Or just pointless. When
renaming, splitting.
But when I look at the wars that we've gotten into in the last 70 years, it's really, what was the fucking point? I don't know what the point was. We go to these places.
Was over oil resources.
Yeah, at least that's what people claim, but they never assert exactly what it's for. We're left trying to figure out, it might have been for money, it might have been for war, it might be for proxy.
So I'm trying to remember. It was
I don't know
that
what
one
it's
specifically was over oil resources.
Well,
I don't know about Iraq and Afghanistan and all that, but I'm talking about Kuwait.
Right,
specifically about they were an American ally and they had oil resources, and we didn't want Saddam taking the oil resources.
Right, yes.
That one was Desert Storm's pretty clear cut, but I think it's clear cut both why it happened and its execution was clear cut because it had a clear goal.
Yes.
War has no clear goal. I think even for people doing it doesn't have a clear goal. So if you wage war and you have a clear intent as to why or like a clear justification for it,
Right.
it's going to be obvious how it goes down.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But when it's just kind of wars of attrition and
That's-
psychological warfare and cyber attacks and stuff, it's just like it doesn't.
Yeah. That's all it is now.
Because I think there's no reason for war now.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, as far as like resource and stuff,
Yeah.
like Africa could still be warring.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it's hard for me to think that.
Is Africa the last shithole on Earth? The way that shitholes used to be?
Probably. Yeah.
India is kind of a shithole.
Yeah.
But even they're more developed than Africa.
Yeah.
It's still shitty, but I mean, literally, but.
I just don't think that wars were ever really fought for resources. I think that was just a description that was given by like more of the Marxist ideology.
Oh, that's true.
And so
It's ideological.
yeah, I think war.
Well, because I think a supporting or counter argument to the resource idea would be if you ideologically agree with a neighboring nation, why would you want to take their stuff?
Right. Yeah.
If you're allied or agree with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what ends up happening now is that I don't even know if they have, like what you're saying, there's no clear goal
In war.
and I think that's what's unique about it now, is that prior, if it was ideological, it was like to try to, what Spain said, it was like God, gold, and glory. It was like there was something there.
Which one was that?
When that was just an old saying I think they said for many of the wars that they had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there's I don't know. It's like the things that they were doing always had this clear.
Well, because
clear
countries
intention.
don't even care about being better than each other anymore.
They don't. It's
Well,
so,
China does.
It's so bizarre.
Well, I don't even think Chinese people do.
Yeah. And so yeah,
I just don't think there's a point to being better anymore. I think there is practically, but I don't.
That's
I just
ideologically.
I just don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't think people care about being better than each other anymore.
I know, it's sad.
It just doesn't. I think warfare occurs during the World Cup. I think that's warfare.
Oh, yeah, games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Olympics used to be warfare. It's not
Mhm.
anymore. No
Yeah.
one cares about the Olympics at all
I
anymore.
know. Yeah.
Chess tournaments are warfare.
Yeah.
Like people still have an instinct for it. I think that video games
Mm-hmm.
have sapped a little bit of that instinct from people
Yeah.
because it's virtual warfare a lot of the time.
Yeah.
You can kind of satiate your desire for something. Like video games is warfare pornography.
Yes.
If all you consume is porn, you're never actually going to fuck because you're satiating enough of the desire in a perverted way
Yeah.
to not actually go out and fuck.
Yes.
So simulated warfare especially for like guys who would otherwise be tough, I think it just satiates enough of their instinct for violence that they just don't end up doing it to the same degree or in the same numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think everything's we've gotten really, really good at simulating satiation.
Yeah. That we don't seek it anymore at all.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I know. Because that's, they're like video games make you balance. Actually, video games make you a pussy.
They do. Yes.
Like actually, Grand Theft Auto will make you will make you a loser before it makes you violent.
Yes. No, that's definitely true.
But then people die like trying to be like Naruto or something. Like people like die like emulating stunts from anime and shows and stuff.
Yeah.
That has more of a real life effect than as far as inspiring stupidity and violence than video games do. Video games don't make you violent. They make you a loser.
No, yeah.
Because I just think it checks too many boxes we used to check by actually doing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway.
I think video games has to be a big contributor to that.
I haven't really thought about that before.
Yeah.
That seems like it fits.
Yeah, I don't know. But Oh, these are just predictions, anyways, of how things are gonna go.
The stakes are extremely high, but also very low
Yeah.
for us. So we can say whatever we want.
Oh yeah, I know.
Anyway, are we good?
Yeah.
2 hours, 2 minutes. Somebody just jumped in the chat. It's a very active chat when we do this earlier.
Oh, good.
Like 8 to 10 people
Yeah,
watch, but
yeah.
it's concurrently when we actually stream, but they're there. Anyway, subscribe on Patreon. We'll do a April 7th Q&A. Send it anywhere, however you want to contact. We'll talk to you later. You good?
Yeah.
You gonna say bye?
Soon.
Okay. I have to pee so bad.
Bye.
Bye.